Welcome to this explainer from Forge College. Today, we are taking those polite, orderly velvet ropes and throttling mechanisms you built in our previous lesson, implementing throttling mechanisms and token controls, and we're subjecting them to a full-on, high-speed API crash test. Because let's face it, your rules are completely meaningless if they just shatter the second the internet decides to dogpile your servers. And when you're dealing with the high-stakes, hyper-fast reality of Web3 and Solinar RPC nodes, a failing endpoint isn't just an inconvenience, it's a disaster. So today is all about validating your controls under realistic, chaotic conditions before we lock in those best practices. Let's get into it.
Here's our blueprint for this session. First, we're going to build our test harness. Second, we'll run 3 specific chaos scenarios to push things to the limit. Third, we'll read the resulting security signals. And finally, number 4, we'll use that data to harden our endpoints.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the test harness. Now, to really test our defenses, we need a controlled way to simulate total chaos. You know how it is as a developer? Your expectation is always this polite, orderly trickle of data, just clients quietly waiting their turn. But reality is more like a nightclub door suddenly getting mobbed by 5 party buses at the exact same time. You literally cannot just hope for the best on a crowded highway. You need a repeatable, enclosed test track to see exactly how your gateway behaves when that unruly mob shows up.
So to simulate that mob, our crash test vehicle is going to be a simple, lightweight Node.js script. The ingredient list here is pretty minimal, but absolutely powerful. We're using Node.js version 16 or higher, along with Axios for firing off those HTTP requests. Then we bring in plimit to strictly control our concurrency. This is what lets us orchestrate the exact size of the mob. And finally, csv-writer to record the latency, status, and timestamp of every single impact. This gives us the row-level, exportable data we need for the real analysis later.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 3 chaos scenarios.
Our test vehicle is fueled up, so let's take it to the track. We're going to subject the API to 3 highly controlled scenarios. Basically, we've got the sudden flash mob, the heavy ongoing crowd, and the one overly persistent guest.
Scenario 1 is the burst storm. The whole point here is to see if your system can instantaneously throw up a 429 too many request error when a sudden, massive spike hits. Imagine 200 concurrent workers firing off 400 total requests in just a fraction of a second. That's a huge hit. We need to make absolutely sure the gateway doesn't panic and tip over, but instead politely and instantly drops the velvet rope.
Next up is the sustained overload. This checks how your gateway handles a steady, heavy crowd over a longer period of time. We're talking maybe 50 concurrent connections firing 2,000 requests over a full 60 seconds. For this one, we aren't just looking for those 429 errors. We're actively watching token refill rates. Your latency might creep up as the queues fill, but it should ultimately stabilize if your system's back pressure is actually doing its job.
And finally, we have token exhaustion. This perfectly mimics that one specific guest trying to use their VIP pass 100 times in a row. By running a high-frequency short run against a single API key, we intentionally force their specific token bucket down to 0. What we're looking for in our CSV logs is a rapid, clean transition from 200 OK straight to 429, completely isolating that bad actor without ruining the party for anyone else.
Now for Section 3, reading the security signals.
Because crashing the car is really only half the job. Now we have to look at the slow-motion footage and the sensor data, and that brings us to a non-negotiable rule of API security. Enforcement must be observable. Seriously, if your gateway is silently dropping requests without emitting a labeled metric, you're flying blind. You might technically be blocking bad traffic, sure, but you have 0 proof, no way to measure the impact, and absolutely no way to trigger automated alerts during a real attack.
So what should you be looking at? Well, these are exactly what your Prometheus metric should be telling you during these tests. You want to watch for a clear, undeniable spike in responses 429 total to confirm that your throttle's actually engaged. You've got to track in-flight requests to monitor your queuing and keep an eye on your request latency P95 to spot any severe slowdowns. Listen, if your CSV logs show throttled requests, but these metrics right here don't even budge, your instrumentation is broken and needs fixing.
Which brings us to our final step, Section 4, creating the debug report in hardening.
Armed with our raw CSV logs and our metric snapshots, we can consolidate all this evidence into a formal report. Think of this debug report as your mechanic's clipboard. It seamlessly combines your row-level test outcomes with those high-level metric snapshots to pinpoint exactly where the system's armor is at its thinnest. You'll want to include the traces for your failing requests, so you actually know if it was the gateway or the backend that made the call to block. And most importantly, it needs to end with a ranked list of hardening actions.
Because based on that evidence, you have to apply targeted hardening. Maybe your backend got totally saturated, so you decide to reduce per-key concurrency from 50 down to 20 for anonymous tiers. Or maybe you need to add rich retry after headers alongside your 429 errors to force well-behaved clients to intelligently back off. You might also need to throw in some circuit breakers for your downstream services, or even shorten the token time to life to drastically shrink the window for abuse.
And remember, security is never a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. It is a constant, iterative loop. It's totally evidence-driven. You hit the system, you check the blueprints, you tighten the bolts, and then you do the whole shebang all over again.
So the final question I want to leave you with is this. Are your metrics clear enough to turn these ad hoc fixes into the ironclad production governance we'll be covering in our next lesson? Because without that observable data, you're really just guessing. To dive deeper into framing these API best practices and to master more Web3 and Solana architectures, be sure to visit forge.college. Thanks for joining this explainer from Forge College. Keep testing, keep monitoring, and keep building.